have in Michigan really two ballots. We have the partisan ballot, which starts out at president, and we'll have a United States Senate contest this year. We'll have, all 15 congressional districts in Michigan are up for election. The state Senate is not up for election this year, and neither are the other statewide constitutional officers like governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, or attorney general. But we have the entire 110 members of the State House of Representatives. Also on that partisan ballot, we'll have all of the various county offices and county board of commissioners. And then we have various township offices up for election on the partisan ballot for township office. And then you have your educational governing board posts. The State Board of Education will elect 2 members to. We'll elect 2 members each on the University of Michigan's Board of Regents, the Michigan State University's Board of Trustees, and Wayne State University's Board of Governors. And then on the nonpartisan ballot, then you have the Supreme Court race that we have on the ballot this year. Chief Justice Cliff Taylor is up for re-election. That's the only Supreme Court race on the ballot. There are various Court of Appeals races, and in your district, which is part of the 4th district for the Court of Appeals, there is an open seat. Judge Bill Schuette did not run for re-election this year, and his seat on the Michigan Court of Appeals is an open seat, and 2 candidates are contesting that open seat.
Now the Cliff Taylor's seat is for what? Is that a 3-year?
That's an 8-year term.
8-year term
on the Michigan Supreme Court.
And he had been elected before, and Cliff had served. Is this a 2nd term, or? He
was appointed to fill a vacancy back in 1997. Filled out the unexpired term of the remaining 2 years in 1998, and then was elected to a full 8-year term in 2000. So he's running for his 2nd 8-year term.
And then the 4th Court of Appeals, and that district basically runs from here in Lansing all the way through my 37th Senate district and over to Alpena, and then how far?
It goes all the way, then it goes across the bridge and it encompasses all of the Upper Peninsula. There are 58 counties out of the 83 that are in the 4th district for the Michigan Court of Appeals. And that is for a 6-year term.
And so those guys are probably eating a lot of chicken in very unique places, I would assume.
I'm sure. They're putting a lot of miles on their cars.
So it's good. Okay, then we talked a little bit about all the ways that these different ballot initiatives get on. What do we have on the ballot this fall?
Well, 2 proposals qualified for the ballot. We have one, a constitutional amendment, and the other is a statutory initiative. Well, let's start with a statutory initiative. That is a proposal to amend, that is a statutory proposal to permit medical marijuana. And I don't know how much depth you want to go into each of these particular proposals. This was done by the initiative petition, so they needed to get 304,000 valid signatures, and they collected more than that. What this proposal would do is, if you had a terminal or a debilitating illness, and it's defined in the statute as such things as cancer, glaucoma, AIDS, hepatitis, multiple sclerosis, and you were in a great deal of pain, and you went to your physician, and he recommended that you use marijuana, you would register with the Michigan Department of Community Health. You would get a registration card, and you would be registered as someone who has been recommended by their physician to use marijuana for municipal purposes. That person, and remember, we're potentially talking about a terminal person, someone in a terminal stage, could have their caregiver grow, I think, up to 12 marijuana plants.
Wow.
And
So it's a huge liberalization of our existing narcotic
oh,
laws.
yeah. And it would also allow them to have possession of about 2.5 ounces of marijuana at any given time. And what this registration card is that well, first of all, it would allow these people to have possession and to grow this under state law. At the same time, this does not have any impact on federal law.
Okay.
And federal law classifies marijuana as I think, type 1 substance.
Right.
And as a result, even though we were to pass this legislation, it would still be illegal under federal law.
Okay.
The other thing this proposal does not address is kind of a distribution system.
Sure.
You know, with other controlled narcotics, so to speak, you would get a prescription from a physician,
Sure.
and you would go to
a
your pharmacist,
right.
and that person would dispense that particular drug.
Right.
Here,
we only have about a few minutes left, so if you could give us a little bit of an other overview
Okay.
on that, and I appreciate that on the miracle. And what's the other one?
the other one deals with stem cells.
Okay.
And would amend the Michigan Constitution to allow for stem cell research in Michigan. Michigan is, I think, one of about 5 states that prohibits research on embryonic stem cells. And this would remove those restrictions. At the same time, it primarily deals with this, that if a couple goes to a fertility clinic and they produce, in a petri dish, a human embryo for implantation purposes, not all of those embryos are implanted. And as a result, that material is discarded as medical waste currently. This would permit those embryos that were created in an intro
Sure.
They would allow those particular embryos to be used in the 5th or 6th day of cell division for
medical research.
For medical
Right.
research.
Okay. So there's different places that people will be able to find out about these two ballot initiatives. I know by doing work on Google searches, going to your respective parties, there's background information on both of these. The first one would be Proposal 1. The second one would be Proposal 2. And both will require study, and they require a great deal of liberalization of Michigan law. Bob, thank you very much for the opportunity for being with us today and giving us an overview of what your background is, and it's been very, very helpful and insightful. If people need to get a hold of me in my office, feel free to contact me at the name and information that's listed below on the television screen. Thank you very much.